The Batman Arkham series gave us a lot of time with various members of the Batman Rogues Gallery, and while not every character got to take center stage, their presence was at the very least felt. Harvey Dent, Two-Face, was a character that maybe could have used a little more time in the games. In Arkham Asylum, we hear about him at the end of the game. Apparently, after beating Joker, that's the next thing Batman's off to deal with. We, however, don't get to know exactly what happened there, other than presumably Batman brought him to justice. In Arkham City, he plays a role right at the beginning of the game, having captured Catwoman, somehow, but you take care of that fairly quickly. And then Two-Face disappears for most of the game, until taking over part of Penguin's museum after you've already dealt with Penguin, which that fact in and of itself does kind of downplay Two-Face as a villain. As while he may not be the most intimidating villain, I'm fairly certain he could take Penguin. But in Arkham Knight, he finally gets a side story all his own. A rather uninspired side story that's about robbing banks. But at least he finally gets to be a somewhat larger presence in one of these games. But I do have a question about Two-Face's gimmick. He flips a coin to choose his course of action. The coin he uses is generally depicted as being a quarter with two heads. Now, in real life, a standard quarter is not perfectly balanced, so when flipped, heads will actually come up slightly more than tails. This is because of how the weight's distributed on the coin. Now, a two-headed coin would presumably have better balance, just because it has the same thing on both sides. Except, Two-Face's coin is not the same on both sides. One side looks like a quarter in pretty standard condition. The other side is heavily damaged. Scratches, pit marks, etc. So what I'm wondering is, since the two sides are not identical, how has the probability been affected for the good side versus the damaged side coming up? As Two-Face flips his coin frequently to make decisions. So either side having a greater chance of coming up would have a huge impact over time. And would Harvey Dent be aware of this? And is he subconsciously trying to steer himself in the good or bad direction by just having a very slight advantage for one side or the other? Now, unfortunately, we don't really get enough of him in the Arkhamverse to say definitively one way or the other. But it seems odd that this point has never been addressed in any Batman media that I can find. Especially as Batman is a character that does obsess over the little details. And also, with the resources Batman has at his disposal, it seems like he could switch out Harvey Dent's coin for one that would be weighted to one side or the other, which might save a lot of hard work on Batman's part. In fact, if Batman did make a coin where it would always show the good side, this would over time completely eliminate Two-Face as a villain in Gotham. And him not doing this is in fact horribly irresponsible on the part of the Batman. Please do subscribe, comment, like, and tell your friends.